What is up, friends? Welcome. Come on in. Make yourself at home. It's a beautiful Friday, and I'm glad you're here. Let's see who's in the house today. I'm going to be looking back and forth because I want to give you better camera, clearer Kev. Tell me where you're at today. Where are you on this Friday? Jess, good to see you. Hey, my man, Jeff Hicks. I know where Jeff is. He's right here in town. Roger, good to see you. Welcome. Siobhan, how are you? Great to see you. Bill's in the house. What's up, Bill? Mackley, John DeCamp. All right. Tamara's here. Tracy. Oh, so good to see Tracy. Awesome. Robert, Pamela, great to see you guys. Kimberly, come on in. Today, I'm just going to be fumbling around with this camera. There we go. Trying to get, it's supposed to follow me and keep me clear. Damn technology. But let's talk about that. Today, we are going to share our secrets. Isn't that alluring? Secrets from the big event we had here. Geez, was it just 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we were all in a room immersed in a brewery, if you will, because it was my friend's brewery. And we took it over completely, owned the place for 2.5 days. And man, it was just so cool to have everybody in a room. There's about 35, 40 of us in there. All of our team, the great Sam Woods, Ron Lynch, and we all just had a very communal kind of mind-blowing experience exploring primarily the capabilities of AI, what this means to the immediate and long-term future of not only our industry, particularly copywriting, where we're seeing fast changes already, but other industries and the world at hand. Frankly, there's no way to overhype the effects of AI on our lives from this point forward. I don't know if you guys happen to see 60 Minutes did a really eye-opening sort of expose about AI and what it is, what it does. My dog is trying to make herself at home here. It's a lot of people reached out to me after that, like friends of mine who have heard me talking about AI, and this was like their first taste of what it actually is and what it actually does. And they were like, oh, I didn't know this. And I'm like, you got to stop and read. You got to stop and pay attention. But look, it's exciting. That my favorite thing about being here with everybody in St. Pete was that everybody left full of energy, just energized about what this means for us and for our futures, right? People, if we're living sort of on the bubble of what AI is, its implications, and then we immerse in it finally through the right lens. If you go through the right lens, if you just float around on social media, you're going to hear all kinds of opinions. Some people super excited, other people very frightened of it, and all these, hellacious foretellings of the demise of both our careers and the future of humanity. Look, we've all said it so many times. It's a tool. It's a tool. And yes, it is scary smart. It is scary capable. But if you're on the right side of this giant wave, then you're going, man, where's my surfboard? Right? Not I'm going to drown. Where's my surfboard? And being a copywriter, being somebody who understands marketing, persuasion, communication, you are on a surfboard. Those are your surfboards. They're all lined up. You stuck them into the sand on the shore, and you have these choices about how you want to surf today using AI. So this is a very friendly wave through the right lens. And that is the mission I am on, to help people understand why that is. And we're going to have Rob Tillman, my good friend, and for lack of a better term, our director of growth here at Copy Chief. It's the best way to describe what he's doing, because Rob brings so much experience from big business world into our industry, into my business. And he just, Rob will tell you, his specialty is to connect things that don't normally connect. and make them work. That's kind of his superpower. And the way he's been connecting with me, for me, the capabilities of all this great new tech and machine learning for what we're able to empower others to do with our knowledge, our existing understanding of marketing, persuasion, communication is just stunning. And so I hope you're enthused. Yeah, right. Rob's saying AI is our time's Pandora box, both good. It's very true, man. It is. I daily have a conversation with ChatGPT that causes me to sit back in my chair and go, wow, wow, wow. Okay. So here's the latest thing I'm doing. I want to share something with you real quick. I don't have the results yet. I'll tell you why, but I will have them by Monday. So I sent out an email to my entire list. What was it, Lola? Thursday. And it's, kind of if you know Dean Jackson's 9-word email, a 9-word email is a question very specifically stated to get a response. And the key, by the way, if you're new to this concept, you should definitely check out Dean's email mastery. I believe it's emailmastery.com. It's a free download. The thing about Dean is he just gives you everything. Like, Dean does not tease or hold back or create open loops. He just teaches you. And then, of course, that theory of the people who want to really master this will come to me, and it's worked out quite well for him. And so emailmastery.com is Dean's overall concept. But a 9-word email is simply, I think the way it's sort of evolved in the nomenclature is writing a question in a specific way that elicits response. And so the question we sent out was, I believe it said, what is the number? Actually, I'm gonna pull it up so I can tell you exactly, because it matters. The wording. Here's a quick funny story. The first time I ever used a 9-word email, I was Dean. It was in his mastermind group, right? And so it was for the 60-second sales hook. So this is 8-9 years ago. And I'm on the phone with Dean, and I'm writing the email that's going to go out after people have downloaded the book. And what it ended up saying, and what it needed to say, was, hey, you're one of the first to download the 60-second sales hook. What business are you in? ? Kevin. That's the proper email. He had to stop me. We're on the phone together and I'm writing it. I'm like, oh, I should probably add in a little nicety, like, hope you enjoy it. He's like, no. It should probably tell them a little bit about why I wrote it or what it does. Nope. I should give them a little bit of maybe my history. He's like, no, it's done. He's like, X out of email, like, it's done. And it was so difficult to not write more. There's so much. One of the challenges we have as copywriters is there's so much to tell. There's so many benefits. This is important. That's important. We get in our heads about everything that the person we're writing to needs to know. But Dean always has this philosophy of, the least amount of communication you can possibly give somebody is best, because it will cause them to want to respond. Okay. So the email we sent was, hey, name, what is the number one thing holding you back from getting what you want from freelance copywriting? And then I added, I really want to know, Kevin. And the reason I was compelled to write, I really want to know, was because I really want to know. And sometimes if you just have a question, it can feel a little bit like a trap, right? And so I wanted to express that, like, don't hold back. Like, tell me, I want to know. No agenda. Notice the wording, what's not in there, right? I didn't say, what is the number one thing holding you back from making 6 figures as a copywriter? That's a lot to think about, right? Because now I'm getting into, where's their head at? Is 6 figures even the goal? Should it be, right? Are they already beyond 6 figures? All these qualifications happened if I add that in. What is the number one thing holding you back from getting what you want from freelance copywriting? So what do we have to know to want to answer this question? That you want to have a career as a freelance copywriter, and there's something holding you back. Everything else is up to them. From getting what you want from, totally their canvas to paint when phrased that way. Okay. And again, took me a lot of trial and error to figure this out and just embrace it in its simplicity. I see 9-word emails goofed up all the time because the same problem, same instinct I had, just feels like you want to write more or add a fun little emoji or none of that will help. It's, you know, you're interviewing them and you're asking, if you watch great interviewers, they ask clean questions and then they stop talking, right? And they wait for the answer. They don't over explain why they're asking or try to frame it up for the subject. They just say, here's the question. And because you want to just have them search their minds and answer purely. And so it's critical with the 9-word email to keep it as terse as possible. So, and not pre-frame or pre-qualify, because then they smell your agenda. All right. So I hope that's helpful. I always want to talk about that because again, it's so easy to screw up, and it goes against our instincts as communicators and persuaders to let it be so simple. All right. So we sent that email out Thursday. I have had about last I counted 66, 67 responses to that email. And I will answer every single one of them. I'm probably about a third of the way through right now. And people are really shocked. They're like, oh my God, you actually answer these? I thought I was just like filling out a survey or something, right? And so it's always, you get so much insight about how people receive your messages when you do these as well. And so, what's going on here? Captain Lou Albano thing going there. Oh, if anybody got that reference, I'm sending you a t-shirt. Anybody know who Captain Lou Albano is? Justin might. Okay, so ADD, here we go. Here's what I'm going to do next. And this is where it comes back around to ChatGPT. So today I open ChatGPT and I say to it, good morning. First thing I said, it said, good morning. How can I assist you today? And I point that out because your relationship with ChatGPT or any AI you use matters. It matters more to you than to them, obviously. But I feel like ChatGPT is my assistant, and I want to have the same relationship I would with it as I would anybody on my team. Polite, courteous, thoughtful, right? And it responds just the same. And so even though it's a robot, make it, you dictate your relationship with it, right? So then I said, and it's on my other computer, so I can't probably show you exactly. Let me see if I can. I'm sure it saves across. There we go. I said, I recently sent out an email to my list of readers and asked a question. There were, at the time, 64 replies. I would like to load all the replies for you here and create a, quote, knowledge base that you can summarize to identify the core issues found in those responses. Are you able to do that for me? 2 seconds. Yes, I can certainly help you with that. Please provide me with the email replies, and I'll do my best to summarize the core issues found in those responses. You can paste the replies here, and I'll analyze them for you. Oh, my heart. You see how it answered? It parroted back to me my exact request. Now, this is a great soft skill to be aware of as a human. What does that do for me when it parrots back the exact request I made of it? It gives me confidence that it is being thoughtful and understood exactly what I was asking it, right? Yes, I can. is there any other words you would want to hear from someone you've hired to assist you than these? Right? If they just said, "Nah, I could do that," you'd be like, "Can you? Do you get it?" And then you might be compelled to sort of repeat yourself. ChatGPT is a fantastic communicator. And that's what it does. It reads data. It understands interaction. Again, you ask it to write or create or do things, it'll give you cool ideas. It'll eliminate the need to start from a blank page, but it don't do what we do. And right. And so this is why, in a nutshell, you do not need to fear, but you need to embrace OpenAI, AI, machine learning, because we are the creative machine, and this machine is there to assist us. And so now what I'm going to do is, over the weekend, as I finish responding to what will end up probably being close to 100 replies to that question, I am going to cut and paste every reply just as it was into a single Google Doc. And then I'm going to put it in here to be analyzed and just see what ChatGPT throws back at me. Now, this is something I've done throughout my career. Every time I do a 9-word email and get all these responses, I always take them and put them in a separate doc. I have many documents with 60, 70, 80 pages of replies. The difference is I had to analyze them, or others on my team always had to go back and analyze them ourselves. And we bring our bias to them, and we bring, is it proving things we assumed already existed? Is it validating our current beliefs, right? ChatGPT doesn't have current beliefs about what it might find. It's just looking at data, and it's doing what it's built to do, which is spit back at you the patterns it sees. It has no bias, no agenda. It's not in a bad mood. It's not, you know what I mean? And so that is where, in research, it is your best friend, because all it is doing is giving information back to you based on what you fed it, and leaving it up to you to take the analysis, the summary, the parts of the whole, so to speak, and turn it into something human on your terms, through this is where you want, but experience, but you don't want biases, right? And so if you can take this information and look at it anew, right? If I am clear of my agenda and clear of my biases about what this market wants from me, and I just sit and I listen, and that's why it's important for me to read and respond to every single one of these things, because I have to think about what I'm saying, and it all goes into my own brain's data file, right? So you're human, but I can't remember everything. I'd have to go back to the document and read back through every single one of them to get my head back to that place from when I originally created it, and if I don't do that, I'm just walking around with foggy notion of the things I took away. Yes, I could use quotes and overall, this is the number one thing I got in response to that question, and write content about that. That's all really useful. But forever now, I will have a file of unbiased intel in this tab that I can go back to and look at it with fresh eyes every time. Is that interesting? Is that helpful? And I'll be happy to share with you what I find once I go through this process. Justin's always so funny. So yes. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. So with that, just to bring it to a superhuman level real quick, I want to tell you the number one thing I have seen so far in the responses to that, and just give you a little Papa Kev moment real quick, and then we're going to bring Rob on. The number one thing I'm seeing, and no matter how they say it, when the words they use around it, all comes down to self-doubt. What's the number one thing holding you back from getting what you want from freelance copywriting? And some people literally wrote those two words: self-doubt, procrastination. But then I had all these layers of self-doubt around that. A guy in India who said, figuring out how to explain to my parents that this isn't a crazy thing to pursue, essentially. Wow. Right. We know that's very common in the culture there. It's engineer, doctor, lawyer, anything else is a failure. People saying, I've bought almost every course and I never finished them. And so, the reason you don't finish things that you intend to do is because you don't believe that you're going to be able to take the information and do something good with it. That's self-doubt. One woman, my favorite so far, said to me, "You want to know what's holding me back? Your stupid job board." Those are her words. Your stupid job board. And she went on to say, I've applied to some jobs and I haven't gotten them because I just know I'm not going to be good enough. My stupid job board. And there's like 100 other people applying for these jobs, and I know they're more qualified than me. And so I wrote back to her. I said, she's like, "So what do you say? What's your advice on that?" I said, my advice on that is to stop telling yourself you're not good enough. I said, this is a you thing. You are making so many assumptions when you go into these situations. You're assuming that hundreds of other people are applying, usually not the case. You're assuming that anybody else who did apply is more qualified than you, and you don't have it. You're defeating yourself before you even knock on the door. Can you imagine a salesperson knocking on your door, and you open the door and they're like standing there staring at their feet, and they're like, "Hi, I'm wanted to talk to you about solar panels. I hope I'm not bothering you. I know you probably already know all about solar panels, but if you're interested, I have a pamphlet." What? And so, but do you see how she deflected any possible self responsibility from how she's approaching those situations, and blamed my stupid job board for having such great quality leads and 500 qualified people who might be applying for them? And because other people see those same opportunities and they're like, "That's mine. This is perfect for me. I'm going to show up every day at this store and tell people, I don't care who else you're talking to, I'm the one you want. Here's why." Guess who wins the gig? So just throwing that out there. If you ever hear those doubts in your mind before you go after something, you got to clear that up first, because people respond to momentum, your enthusiasm. People will embrace you, help you, champion you, open doors for you if your intention is clear, if your pro code is on display, and your enthusiasm is lit. Always people will help you because we respond to that. We know a winner when we see one. And I get, man, that we're creatives and there's like a ton of reasons why we feel insecure, and business is awkward for us and those things. There's just no way around it. Anybody who tells you you can make $10,000 a month working 1 hour a day, and if you work one minute more than an hour a day, you're doing it wrong and you're stupid. Man, that just irks me. It's so insulting because they don't know who you are or what your capabilities are, right? So how can they promise you that? Come on. By the way, if you don't know, and you probably should, if you follow me, Escape Velocity is open right now. That is my 10-week live coaching program. You can go to copychief.com/EV plus. It's the most robust version of this program we've ever done. 10 weeks of live coaching with me, where I take you from trying to figure out how to make freelancing work for you to be up and running and landing clients. My goal is for you to land your first paying client within 90 days. Whether or not you've had clients in the past, I'm going to show you a way to do it that gets you paid better money by better clients, and allows you to do better work because you're focused on your specialty and exactly what you do that you're uniquely qualified to be the best at. Okay. So escape velocity copychief.com/EV plus. Maybe if you want to dump that in there, Lolita. Okay. So any questions so far? Anything just to wrap up my little portion here? Anybody in the comments got any questions? Got any? Everybody's just chatting, having a good time. Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions, just go to ChatGPT. They know exactly what I would say. All right, let's I want to bring on my friend Rob here, and we're gonna bring you into who was there. If let everybody know if you were there with us in St. Pete. Jeff was there, Justin was there, Tamara was there, and Greg. Oh, Greg's here. What's up, Rob?
What's happening? What's happening?
Good to see you, my friend. So there you go. Pop a Kev rant in the books. I'm sure you recognize a lot of those things. You have a lot of conversations with our folks as well. But let's take them into St. Pete and bring all the gold from there into here.
All right, we're going to bring up some gold from St. Pete. But before I do that, I'll give a little bit of insight about just how we understand all of this thing, including the joy that is Kevin and Rob. If you want to think about what Kevin and Rob is, then think about Warren Buffett. Kevin's Warren Buffett. I'm Charlie Munger. I'm the guy in the lab just doing all the background things. If you're thinking about that for money, if you think about music, I'm Rick Rubin, and Kevin talked about a great book by Rick Rubin. I'm the guy behind the scenes doing the production work. He's out there signing artists and making sure this thing happens. So that's a great way to think about what we do and how we work together.
Yeah.
And in the lab, I'm going to share with everybody what's been going on. In the lab, we've been building crazy things, which some of you all got to see with your things like Automator. We'll talk more about that in a second, but we'll talk about the actual Creative Minds event and talk about what was really going on there and what was revealed. Everybody was there, got their minds blown by Sam Woods, Ron Lynch. I'm gonna start with Ron because that's the talk that everybody said. It went exactly the opposite of how they thought it was gonna be. Right. Everybody thought they knew what they were gonna get. They thought they were gonna get some marketing speech, some copywriting lingo, and he went deep into the humanity of us all, how we feel, our lack of confidence, our inactions. And that really drives home where we are today in copywriting. Everybody is afraid. They don't realize that the path is laid right before them. Just similar to what you talked about, the lady who said the stupid job board. Then they look at all these things around them and they're trying to find a reason to not take action.
Right.
ChatGPT is all about action. I'm gonna put an asterisk to that because it's not about always great action, but it's always about action. If you're ever stuck, all you have to do is use it to get you moving. Because we talked about that word Kev said, momentum. At the event, most of the highlights that revolved kind of came similar to what we were talking about with Ron. It was always about, what are you gonna do? What are you all gonna do? Are you gonna wait? Are you going to think that your path is unclear? Are you going to think there's obstacles in front of you? Are you absolutely going to just take action and do something? Because the way that he put it, it's already been written. We literally can't live in the present. There's only two things. There's the future and we're 100% wrong about it.
Yeah.
Remember, he gave us a great example of that. He talked about how the future, everything you think is going to happen in the future, it never happens that way. So we are 100% wrong about the future. So why are we afraid? And then he talked about the past. And that's all we're ever living in. We're always looking backwards and thinking about what we did, because we can't even do something. The moment that the word came out of my mouth, it's no longer the present, it's the past. Our future with Creative Minds and with the things that we were learning, that's what Sam talked about. He said, as he started this, he talked about that there are two things that are really going to rise to the top with AI. And it was two things I don't think anybody thought were going to be the things. The two things he said people will search for and crave with AI is not more words, not more content, not more pictures, not more any of that stuff. He said religion, and he said human connection. So what he's telling us is AI is really going to make us remember that we got too consumed in technology, that we got too consumed in social media, we got too consumed in all these things that are like not real, and that make us look inside of ourselves, and we're going to start looking outside of ourselves, which is pretty amazing for me. So that's really high level what we were talking about. But then what really started to happen is I think it started to it unleashed some people. So people started to talk. I think probably if we were to break it down in the Creative Minds event, it was probably 60-40. It was 60% of people in the audience giving information and talking and starting conversations and really talking about what's going on with them. So it really it was human connection, a lot of people talking about the things and wanting to help other people. And Ron even got into religion. So think about this. Without any of that context, that's exactly what ended up happening, which was just what Sam said.
Exactly.
Crazy, no?
Yeah. And, you know, that's the thing about Sam, for me, is he's just such a deep thinker.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so glad he's the one at the forefront of teaching AI. It's why I'm honored to have him as our official advisor on AI in Copy Chief, where all of our members can get, you know, caught up and kept up through Sam, because he sees the big picture. He's all about humanity. Another thing that Sam told me that really stunned me, not because I didn't expect it from him, I just, it so prolific or profound. He has like 100-year. I said, Sam, this is in a private conversation after he did his workshop, right? Which sold way more than he ever expected. I said, what's your end goal for this? He's like, I don't have one. I literally wish right now my plan for this year was to go away and write Shakespearean sonnets, not with ChatGPT, with the notebook. He wanted to learn how to write sonnets. And he said that the reason I'm compelled to teach this is because the threat to our privacy and our humanity is greater than it's ever been. So many people are using AI and machine learning to take away our freedom, He said, in our only defense, the way I see it, is if creatives are equally empowered by the technology, then there can be balance. Every revolution, every fight for change that we've ever experienced in all of humanity was driven by, usually you can put it down to one person, a small group of people, somebody with a big idea and the courage to stand up against it, that formed a movement that keeps us somewhat in check of how we live and how we demand to live, to not have our democracy threatened or taken away in places where we have such privileges. And he said, over the next 100 years, you know, that's our only hope, to not become the little round people in Wall-E who drive their scooters and only stare at screens, right? And I was like, wow, man. So that's where we're at. And again, why I get so enthused about this, because in our hands, we are just as powerful as anybody who wants to use this to take away our freedoms, to increase our freedoms for ourselves,
More
for
powerful.
humanity. More
Not
powerful.
not just as, actually more powerful. Uh, Everybody, think about this, okay? Just if you have a piece of paper in front of you, do something. I'm going to ask you to write down something. So take a blank sheet of paper or type it out, but type out the word copy, all right? Underneath the copy, I want you to put two columns. The left column, I want you to write the word content. The right column, I want you to write the word conversion. You good? Everybody throw in the chat, you got something going on like that, if you're okay. There you go. Content is words. And that's something that ChatGPT and AI just in general does. It assembles words, which is what content is, okay? It assembles words. It generates this thing that assembles words. On the right side, that's that word called conversion. And it's not always just about converting somebody from a prospect to a customer. It's about creating something. It's about creating something in somebody's heart to move them. It's about creating something in somebody's mind to trigger a thought. It's about creating something that makes somebody take a movement. And AI does not trigger movement. It triggers this thought. It triggers this thing. It triggers these words. The people who are going to do incredible in the future in the copywriting world are always going to understand that the tool is helpful for generating these words, but that human still has to look at them. The human still has to figure out and has to take the emotional part in there and understand, is it going to move something? Put a prompt in ChatGPT and you're going to see nice words and you can be like, those are great words. But I ask the question, is it going to move you? And I haven't seen any of it that moves me. Mm-hmm. What about you all? Somebody throw in chat. What do y'all think? Does ChatGPT, when you put in a prompt, no matter how great the prompt is, does it move you, or does it just give you words that say, that's nice? Not moving, not moving, not moving. There you go. I love what Greg put in there, that word almost. That's key. It's almost. So there's somebody I work with, and I always use this word with this person. It's always the difference between interest and commitment, right? And interest and commitment, for me, I give a little joke about it. I said, hey, if you really want to understand interest and commitment, then think about yourself. And I said, I think about me. Lamborghinis, I'm interested in them. When I see one, I stop. It's interesting. I look at it. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's nice. Would I ever buy one for myself? The answer is no. If I won the lottery when it was over $1 billion, I would never spend a penny on a Lamborghini because it's only interesting. And that's the real difference that we start to have to understand is interest is that's neat, unique. It's going to stop me. But something that makes you committed to doing something that comes inside you. That's not something that's outside you. That's what a copywriter is able to do, is they're able to take what's in them and they're able to insert it into you, which forces you to move. Justin, I want to tag on him for this because that's specifically and exactly what Justin always does. Justin with voice, that's the whole key of it. That's the whole purpose behind what he does. So Justin Blackman and everything about voice, and he asked a question related to AI, and he was like, hey, but I'm trying to figure out how do I fit in this play, how do I fit in this, and what am I going to do, and how does this work? And we had a conversation that really revolved around the core of voice is about transference of something while still maintaining what it is. He's the master of making sure that it doesn't get lost when it gets transferred to somebody. Even his tools get you close, but they aren't truly what, when you put that human eye to, we're trained to see the little differences. And it's not about skills, it's about heart. What do you think?
Yeah, love that. That's great movement. I mean, that's 100%. I've never once had ChatGPT, except when I'm talking to it and it talks back to me in such a lovely way. That kind of moves me a little because like, it's just, like I said, it's so good at communicating that. But when you ask it to produce something that you're hoping will be moving, a great story, it falls flat, because that's when you realize, oh yes, I'm dealing with a very limited thing here. I think that's why, Rob, is because it can talk to you in a way that you wish some humans would. But when you ask it to go do the work, you realize, oh, it is only an assistant. It is not a creator. And I need other people who have that skill to help me with this part.
Well, Robert Youngblood in here, he actually hit on something too, and he talked about it is an absolute great employee.
Yeah.
And I agree. Anybody who's been a manager before knows that great employees turn bad if they have a bad manager, if they have a bad leader.
Right.
So the AI is an incredibly capable but limited employee. If you ask an employee to do something it can't do, you're actually doing a disservice to that person. You're setting it up to fail. So if you don't know what the limitations of your employees are, in other words, if you don't know the limitations of AI, you're going to ask it to do something and it's going to try, just like every employee does. Everybody's been around somebody who, that everybody knows they only have certain skills. And every once in a while, the manager says, hey, can you do this? And they're like, you obviously must think I can. So they try and they fail. That's what ChatGPT is. It is a great employee if you understand its limitations,
Right.
and its capabilities. The beautiful part about it is it's consistent.
Right.
A great employee, more than anything, is consistent. You know what to ask it to do. You know what to not ask it to do. You know that they're going to be there every day on time, doing what you ask them to do. And this is one that really, it's like an army of those type of employees. Each one ChatGPT agent is like the equivalent of 1,000 regular humans in what they do.
Right.
But it's still limited only by how good you are at understanding how to manage that employee.
Right. And that's why I go back to the thing about communication, because good communication is not just data.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it is. And that's where people will be replaced. How many functions do we use daily that used to require a human, that are now, phone. I hate with a passion having to talk to an automated system when I'm calling a company. But they're getting much better at solving simple problems, and imagine the efficiency that creates for the company. So all
Wendy's,
those, yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
sorry. You talked about it. Wendy's actually at their headquarters is trying out all AI AI talking chatbots for you to make your order at the window. And again, they're trying to figure out if that's going to make things better. But guess what they actually have to do? They have to get smarter humans to
Right.
actually be inside of the store to
Right.
make sure when this thing goes wrong, then they can fix it.
And listen to this. All those basic communications and things, right? Like just say, for instance, American Express, right? You are a Black Card member, which is like their elite status, right? There's like no limit to the thing. It's just like, go travel the world, get what you want. Use your Black Card, right? So now, because they're not having to spread out their resources to answer every single call and things that, I mean, again, efficiency, us having to do the same thing over and over in one-on-one instances that just are fruitless. They keep things moving, but they're tedious. They don't advance anything, right? To now be able to automate those to a point where they're done in an excellent way. Just like I was so thrilled to have this nice little chat with ChatGPT and for it to say, absolutely, I can help you with that. Let me get started, right? Crazy. Now we get to take our resources and give our best customers, white glove service, right? Like, really personal. If your best customers are treated the way they deserve to be, they get to call a person, and they don't even have to go through a robot, because you have the capacity now to serve people on that level. That's us. We're the people who, whatever we do, come in and do the top level work that is going to be automated and move faster. So it's kind of like we're handed what we need to do, or free to do what we need to do, to serve on a higher level, to create on a higher level. See, and that's us being ahead of the wave, not submitted to it.
Hey, so can I give them a sneak peek of the conversation we had Tuesday regarding Automator and regarding all the next steps and the things that we're working at integrating?
Yes, please,
working on
because
that?
it's important that we get there. Yeah.
Okay. So very important for every single person to understand that where we're doing this, and we're just about to come out of beta so that we can start putting in people's hands. You won't get this exact functionality yet, but part of it is we were trying to see how fast we could get this functionality into it. The whole objective behind it is leverage. As people who are freelancers and solopreneurs, then you're juggling multiple clients, and think if you had the ability for you to have a client file in your automated profiles, and whenever that customer calls up, you could just drop down and instantly give them some feedback about something they're asking you for. If they ask you, like, hey, it's company X, and you just choose company X, and you know who they are, you have all of their stuff pre-prescribed into this file that allows you, when they say, well, I'm thinking about maybe you giving me some emails or something, then you could say, hey, I have ideas like, and you're able to just give them a quick idea, not the finished draft, but because you've already predefined a lot of these parameters about that client, about their company, about their founder, about their voice and tone, about their products, where you can just instantly grab that information and you just tell it which output that you're looking for. So you can show that person just how fast your mind is working. And when you're switching from client to client, then it was almost seamless for you to do nothing more than just drop down and find that. Does that sound like something that's interesting to anybody? Would that make your lives easier? Yes, maybe, could be, on a good day.
Yeah. Everybody's hitting
Definitely. So that's the things that we were working on with the programmer. So we had, what was it, 6, 7 people in that call, Kev?
Yep.
And we were going through
our partner Matt. Yep.
Going through exactly how to do it. We were defining for them. We gave them the parameters for how to do that. It wasn't them just telling us what could or couldn't be done. We did all the research and brought to them a framework for how they could do that to be able to support you all. So we're already at the place of really solid content or really good outputs. And what we were trying to do is push them, we're pushing them to go past the outputs and make sure that your jobs are leveraged, because we know that that's the big struggle everybody has. All of these different clients, all of the different requirements, just trying to keep it all straight in your head.
It's huge. Again, just my dream, my vision for what Copy Chief can be for our members is your ultimate workstation. Rob and I have been referring to it as the home screen, because the way I think of it is like time to go to work, and you're going to open up your laptop, and the first thing you're going to do is log in, because everything someday will be in front of you. There will be a dashboard. I want to show Rob real quick. Yeah. Like you said, I'll skip for time to the real heart of it. It is about, where do you put your time and energy, like we've been saying, right? If all the menial tasks are automated and you only have to show up to the end result, that is like having a team of amazing assistants doing all, people talk about the $10,000 an hour work, right? The only way to get to the $10,000 an hour work is to have other people doing all the other things, so you don't have to focus on them. That's what that equation is. And so if you guys haven't seen my training called the Freelancing Profit Pie, this is the goal for a freelancer. 50% of your time and energy is spent creating your revenue, at least your needed revenue. Okay. Half your time and energy. So let's just say a 40-hour week, you're only spending 20 hours doing the work in your bubble, sitting, creating. That gets you that money. That leaves you 25% of time for developing new things, whether that's new business, whether that's new skills, whether that's better networking, right? You're doing those important things and you're free to do them because you're not spending all your time doing the work. And then you have things that motivate you. I call this rev, dev, and motiv because it rhymes. But that motivation is so important because those are the passion things, the things that make you uniquely you, that because you're developing this lens over here of how to earn money, how to develop new ideas, you'll understand, you'll start to make connections and say, this thing, now surfing, CrossFit, whatever you're making time for, you start to see where you could improve those businesses or bring it into your world. And so it's sort of a cycle too, right? The motive stuff sometimes gets developed into things that equal to the rev. Okay. And so we have this broken down into how this time and energy plays out at every phase. If you've seen our freelancers journey. And as you see in the beginning, there's only motivation, but then we start to learn. And now we're spending 75% of our time developing the skills that are going to get us paid. And now we're proving the model, we're getting paid. So now we're spending like 75% of our time figuring out how to deliver this work. All right. But then when we get into phase 3, 4, this is where you get this perfect equation of the balance. If you don't balance these things out and you spend 100% of your time just doing the work, we see this happen a lot. Somebody came to me, a longtime member who was working with one company for the last 4 years and kind of had her hat in her hand and said, I made the biggest mistake you warned about. I got really comfortable and nobody knows who I am. It's like, I have to start over because I'm leaving this company and I got no connections. I got no presence. You have to keep balancing these things. And then when you get into phase 6, phase 7, so for me, I'm in phase 7 now. Like, I don't have to do much to make the company go. We have an amazing team. People are out there every day. I just see all the stuff they're doing in Slack doesn't require any input or guidance from me. So what I spend my time doing is the things I love, which is writing. I am still the copywriter in the company, so that's not quite zero for me. If I stop doing that, we have a problem. But 75% of my time and energy is developing new things, new ideas. This is what Rob and I work on all day. And I still keep myself, the only time you have zero motivation is when you're doing the work that you dreamed of doing, that you spent this 100%, right? And that's a short time. You always want to, as soon as you're stable here in phase 3, get back to doing the stuff that motivates you. Okay. And so with Rob and I have this dream of creating this dashboard that you open up and everything you need is there. Your project management, your what Rob is just describing, you got knowledge bases and files for every client, right? Boom, I'm up and working. I don't have to remember blah, 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 and start reading back through stuff, right? Leads, are there fresh leads or they're waiting for you? Everything we do in Copy Chief and provide for our members, leads, work, advice about how to work more efficiently, be more productive. It's all built in and sitting there waiting for you. So you're truly never writing or working alone. We're there at your fingertips to guide the process every step of the way. That is our dream for what Copy Chief will become and what we're beginning to work on with this team.
Sweet. Many, many moons ago, then yes, absolutely. What you put in there, Youngblood, yes,
Exactly.
it is an advanced interactive CRM with full functionality specifically based upon the needs we know that a freelancer or solopreneur need. Because so many of those softwares out there. That's what they're missing. They're lacking. They either have too many things or they don't have enough things. And yes, a copywriting assistant, it's literally, it allows you to have a team working with you, but they're trained by you. They do the things you want to do. They don't take off days. They're constantly not sick. They've got your back. But many moons ago, I had a mentor, and he said, all there really are two things on earth that you really have to focus on. He said, there are two E's: effective and efficient. And he said, most people on earth do them in the wrong order. Most people try to make something efficient. And if you make something that's poorly put together efficient, you're just making your problems worse. And that's also something sometimes what people do when they're getting their career. They start off their career in copywriting or start off their career in marketing or whatever, and they just want to start running. But they're running zigzag. They have no real solid foundation and direction. And no matter how much effort that they put in, they run out of the ability to get anything out of it. So what he said was, Rob, if you learn some really strong core fundamentals and you be effective, which means you do the right things, then being efficient is nothing more than every day you doing them. You're going to naturally, you don't even have to try to get efficient. So he used this. He says, think about something that used to be hard for you, right? Like tying your shoes. If you learn how to tie your shoes wrong, doing it faster won't make it work. It just makes bigger knots, right? But if you learn how to do it right, you don't even have to think about it. So you get faster and faster and faster by doing that right thing. And then eventually you get so efficient at it, it doesn't even require you to think. It doesn't require you to take even half of a second to do it. I'm really hitting on that because that's the place that we're at right now. And I want everybody to really understand what's happening now in all of our careers. In all of our careers, as we make this transition from the non-AI world into the AI world, the biggest thing that I beg everybody to do is learn fundamentals. Don't just keep jumping from tool to tool to tool. Don't just keep trying to make it do a million different things. Figure out the base core of it. And that's what we want to do with you all. So whether you get it from us or you get it wherever you get it, the core is you need to understand what this thing really does, get good at that, and then you're going to get efficient and you start making more money at it. It'll be like nothing. It'll be like cakewalk. But my biggest caution, so having gone now, I've actually been to, that was my sixth AI event that I've gone to in the last year. And what I continue to see is every single person gets overwhelmed because there's so much information, there's so many things, and what they want to do is go try everything. One of the things we're trying to do for everybody is stop you from doing that, not for our sake, but for you. We want to start bringing the information into the community and bringing the information that you can use. But we don't want to do that if that's not what you want. So I have a question for everybody here, which is a very simple one. Do you want us to handpick the things that are really the most important now and start building some skills around those for you all, to start giving you some guidance on where these things are going, and instead of just giving tons of options, give you just some core things to start doing? Yeah, fire hose, exactly. So my question for everybody is, do you want us to give very specific, you can use what you can do right now type of AI training? Yes. Yes. Wowza, yes. Okay. Absolutely. So we just, everything we do it for you all. We don't want to ever assume, and we don't want to make decisions without your input. So we want to make sure that we ask you, is this what you want us to do? And when you tell us that's what you want, those are the things we're going to do. All right. So we'll start putting that. We'll make sure that we absolutely build these around what you all are looking for, and we make them bite-sized, digestible bits.
Love it. Yeah. I've been telling people I'm more enthused and excited about this industry than I've been in a long time. Not that I ever stopped being enthusiastic about it. It just feels all of a sudden like we didn't know how hard it all was until it became less hard, right? You know, it's that evolution, that moment, and we're living it now. And just like I said, daily, I say, wow, 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 because I see more and more. But the challenge is to harness it and not drowned in the wave, because there's going to be new products, softwares, laws, rules, how we do things coming out daily. And this is going to happen for at least the next year. For at least the next year. I can't imagine the amount of money you would spend just by feeling that if you don't own this or don't learn this, you're going to be left behind. To me, the only way to defend yourself against that is surrounding yourself by a group of people who are at the top looking out, right? They got the periscope. We're good. I see. Oh, that's something. Let me tell you what that is, right? We need, it has to be a community. And that is our vow in Copy Chief, is to, because people are asking for it, provide us that top level, trickle down what you need to know. And better than that, what Rob and I's mission is to put it in at your fingertips. No longer will I have to, as I've been doing for almost 10 years, come up with a thing to teach, distill the best parts of it, give it to you in a presentation, hope that you grokked it to the point where you can implement it, maybe give you some templates and frameworks so kind of keep you on the rails and hope for the best. Sure, you know, you can come and get feedback. We try to give you everything you could ever need to use what we teach in the best way, but that's a long process. If you get distracted along the way, if that doubt starts creeping up, maybe you won't post it for review. We don't know, right? Now I'm teaching and you're doing in real time, and with the best of AI, its best capabilities, it keeps you on the rails. And if you get stuck, it asks you a question to help you break through to the next thing. If you go off the rails, it lets you know, hey, just so you know, you're straying from the formula. Is that on purpose? If it is, great. If not, let's get back in here and keep you working steady, right? To me, that's the most exciting evolution to our industry in a long, long time. And I think traditional ways of taking courses and relying only on yourself to implement them correctly, it's going to be dead soon. It's going to be dead soon. Don't stop creating IP. Don't stop developing ideas. Again, the machine can't do it themselves. It only can do what smart people tell it works best. But now there's so much we can guide people on directly, and so much less room for error. That's what has me so excited. All right, we're going to wrap up because we're a little over, and I try to keep these to an hour so you have faith that when you come here, I won't ramble on. So thank you for being here, Rob. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for sharing all this and all the work we do together. And we'll see you guys inside of Copy Chief. If you need me, you know how to get me, Kevin at copychief.com. Have a great weekend, everybody. I appreciate you. See you.
Have a great one.